These are the plaintiffs, Nancy and Glenn Martin. Nancy says they hired the defendant to build their kids a treehouse, and the crook took their money, and her kids still don't have a treehouse to play in. They hope this doesn't happen to other parents looking for a reliable builder. Their kids' summer was ruined, and their dreams crushed, and they're suing for the return of the $5,000 they're owed. This is the defendant, James McCarthy. He says he worked diligently on the plaintiff's treehouse, custom ordered the materials, got the permits from the town, and was all set to start the build when they went nuts on him, canceled the job, and told him how powerful they were and to watch out for Vinny and Rocco because they were sending them to his house. Well, he won't be threatened by the likes of the plaintiffs and doesn't owe them a refund. He's accused of tree trouble.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiffs hired the defendant to build their kids a treehouse. The guy took the money and ran. But the defendant says the plaintiffs threatened him with Vinny and Rocco. It's the case of my thuggy Vinny.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
All right, Mr. and Mrs. Martin and family, welcome. You're suing Mr. McCarthy with Creative Custom Cabinetry, doing business as Treehouse Brothers. For $5,000, a statutory maximum, you say you're actually out a deposit of $7,500 and you want your money back. Why? What happened?
So, Your Honor, back in May of 2018, I decided with my husband that we wanted to have a treehouse built in our backyard for the kids to play in as a reward for them doing well at school. So I did some research online, and I came across the Treehouse Brothers with James McCarthy as the owner, and reached out to them. They had a very impressive website, seemed to be very enthusiastic treehouse builders. And I contacted them. They came to my, James came to my house and drew up some plans for the treehouse, and we signed the estimate and gave him a deposit.
How much was the treehouse going to cost?
In total, it would have been $15,000.
Okay.
So he wanted half the payment up front, so we gave him $7,500. And then upon his request, he said we should notify our neighbors, which we did.
Which is smart, because if you don't do that, then there might be a problem later.
Exactly. Right. Initially, he said that, he definitely informed us.
Did you ever talk to the neighbors?
I did.
So did you send him to talk to the neighbors?
No, I sent them a certified letter. I tried to knock on their door.
You send your neighbors a certified letter? Like?
Well, because I knocked on their door and they didn't answer.
Do you have problems with those neighbors?
No.
Okay. And according to you, you spoke to those neighbors.
He said he'd had some problems with them in the past and that I should be careful.
Did you have any problems with them in the past?
Never.
Why are you talking to the neighbor?
Actually, I was over there surveying the tree that I was going to build in, and he came out and approached me.
Did he ask you, what are you doing here?
Yes, he did. He
did?
Yes, he did. And I said, I was informed that they had talked to you. He said, no, they did not talk to me. And he said, matter of fact, all they did was send me a letter, and he was a little upset by it. Oh. And he said, I think you should turn around and go check it out with the town. So I went and
He said that
informed
to
them.
you?
Yes.
Okay. So you end up deciding the best course of action, which was wise again, is to go to the town and maybe get a permit to do what you want to do. And what happened?
My husband, Glenn, went down to City Hall and went through all the necessary paperwork to have a permit issued.
All right. So now, can I see the contract that you guys entered into?
Sure.
Does the contract specify how long it should take?
No.
Okay, so now let me ask you a question. How long should it take?
Everyone's different because everything is very unique when it comes to treehouses. But this particular one, I was estimating 2 to 3 weeks of prefabrication. Prefabrication is really where all the work comes into play. And then usually when I'm on site, it's usually 1 week of on-site work once all the parts and pieces are built. Okay.
So now you had a problem with how long it was taking. How long did you wait before you pulled the trigger?
I waited about 5 weeks. So we got the permit on July 3rd. I sent him a check on July 6th. He got it on the 9th. It cashed to his account. It cleared on the 11th. Once he cashed the check, he was not communicative with us at all. And so we tried to get in touch with him to find out when the build was going to start. That first week, he said as soon as he got the check, he ordered the materials, was going to have them express delivered. A week went by. They hadn't shown up.
Well, how do you know all these things if you're not talking to him? Okay. Can I see the texts?
Yeah.
Okay, so July 9th, he tells you, I can't be there this week, but definitely next week. I'll order some materials tomorrow or Wednesday. July 16th, 7 days later, good morning, just wanted to check in, see what the plan is for getting started. We're trying to coordinate things. He says, the lumber arrived last week, but I am still waiting on the treehouse attachment bolts. They should be here very soon. I was hoping to come up on Wednesday or Thursday to start. Everybody's happy. On Wednesday, you ask, did those pieces get in? The kids are getting excited. I really hope they get here today. I really want to get going. He then answers you Thursday, the next day. They're not here. I ordered them last Wednesday. I just checked the shipping. It was 7-day ground, so I guess technically they aren't late, but I would be assuming they would be showing up today, all right? They still hadn't arrived by July 20th. Glenn is telling him, okay, you know, we're getting anxious because this is taking so long with all the headaches, getting the permit surveying. We're just anxious to get started before the summer gets away from us. Please do let us know when you can get started. 3 days later, you text him you weren't feeling well. Now that brings us to July 23rd. I wasn't feeling well. I didn't know I was going to be able to come in today, but I feel much better. I would like to start, if that's okay with you. Great news. I'll be here all day. Can't wait. What happened that day?
So that day, that's actually a very important day. That's the day we set the treehouse attachment bolts. We framed the deck beneath it. It was a 2x8 pressure-treated frame that's hexagonal. So we framed that all out as well. And
Is that up in the air or is that on the ground?
That's everything on the ground first.
First, but that's what's going to go up in the air.
Yep.
What's the finished treehouse supposed to look like?
I'll give you. I have a couple of just. There's a few hexagonal ones on here that you can look at. They'll get you a close enough idea.
On July 25th, you're telling him that now that you're building the treehouse in your workshop, we'd like each side of the treehouse to have a window. On the 31st, you call him because now another 6 days have passed. What happened between July 25th and July 31st?
He had a car accident with his truck.
How do you know that? There's no text back and forth.
Phone calls.
Okay, so
Finally,
you had a car
he called us
accident with
back.
the truck when?
I'll be honest, I don't remember the exact date. It was right in there, I believe.
And
It was
what
actually,
happened?
I swerved and clipped a tree and totaled my truck.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then by August 9th, Glenn loses it. This is
Yes.
Glenn. My wife and I have been trying to reach you to discuss the timing of the treehouse installation with no response from you. Please call us back ASAP or we will have to escalate this matter. To which you respond, I am at a funeral service. Call you soon. And then you send urgent, please read what was attached to that. You didn't photocopy it.
That was the letter I have right
Saying
here.
don't come.
Saying we wanted a refund, that we didn't think he was...
Okay, now at some point on August 9th, do you two talk to each other?
Yes.
And he says, I want you here by Wednesday, and you say, I'll do you two
Yeah.
better, I'll be there by Monday.
Yep. He was definitely, the previous conversation we had, he was very rude to me, and I was getting upset with him as well. And he was.
How was he rude? By telling you, build this treehouse or else? That's what he should be doing by that point.
No, well, actually, at that point, everything was, we just weren't getting along, I could tell. And I was getting frustrated with him with his constant calls. And I told him that I was away for the week and that I'd call him when I got back. And
I know,
but
but how many weeks is enough? Are you entitled to take a week vacation and then another week if the car gets hit? You know, like there.
Yeah,
you understand?
There was. I figured. At the time, I figured I was well within my time frame.
Well, let me tell you something. If it had been me, you'd be well within your time.
Summer was
No,
fading
summer
away
was
very
what?
fast.
It was August 10th.
Yeah, it was fading
Yeah,
away.
no, it was
And we had
August
no
10th.
commitment.
It was August 10th. So in retrospect, wouldn't it have been better to take a deep breath? And if your only objection is the kids aren't going to have a treehouse and it's August 10th, by golly.
I didn't
Because
believe...
I'm not going to make your kids answer this, but I'm pretty sure you would prefer to have a treehouse right now. Right, guys? Yeah. Yeah, because they're kids and they don't care about your grown-up mess.
I didn't
Lord
think it would
above.
ever get done. I honestly didn't think it would ever get done.
Really?
It was
Because of
excuse.
5 weeks, you thought it wouldn't get done
It was
ever.
the lack of communication and the excuses.
On top of
I'm
excuse.
away, I'm out of town, I have an emergency,
I want you to
have a
think this
funeral.
through a second. Doesn't it seem like maybe if you had taken a breath and waited a few more weeks, you might have had a treehouse?
In retrospect.
Show me, yeah. Show me what work you have done or had done. I don't know, is that stuff still around?
Yeah.
It's put to-
I've been storing it the entire time.
Okay, what do you mean most of it? I guess
Yeah,
that
no,
some
there was-
stuff is generic and
Yeah,
you can
there was some framing. I'll be honest that I chopped up and used since then.
Right.
But for the most part, the really tough custom windows, the custom door, the rafters, all the walls. Yeah, it's all sitting there.
I have been in your position. I know what it's like to be a frustrated homeowner. Do you have any interest in my attempting to broker a resolution between all of you, or are you just done and do you want me to rule?
So, tell me why tree houses are so awesome.
They're great. Everybody's got a little bit of little kid in them, and we want to get away from the world sometimes.
What do you, God, I don't know what you're wearing there, but that's awesome. What do you, why tree houses so amazing?
Probably like the nostalgic factors that go along with them. Honestly, I'm not really that big of a fan.
Who's a big fan of tree houses? Big fan of, what do you say? Of course I should go to you first.
I like tree houses because I mean a lot of movies include tree houses, so like, yeah.
Okay, I'll buy that. Going inside the courtroom.
Do you have any interest? You see those kids over there? Stand up a second, kids. What are your names?
Hunter and Sky.
Hunter and Sky? Okay, take a look at that man there. You want to build those kids a tree house?
Those kids, yes. those two adults, no. I will not build a treehouse for them.
You want? Okay,
No.
go ahead. Have a seat, children.
He threatened my life.
What? How did he threaten your life?
He
I didn't
called
see that
me
in the
up
notes.
and freaked out and told me that he was an important person, that he would send people to my house. This is on week 4.
That he would send people to your house to what?
I could only guess. Vinny and Rocco.
No. What did he say?
I'm not gonna put words
Quote,
in his mouth.
yeah.
Quote. I am an important person, and I will send Vinny and Rocco to your house.
Did you say that?
That's not true.
And quote, unquote, why would I make, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life to say that.
I could think of more menacing things to make up.
And he said, and then the next words were, are you recording this? I said, of course I'm not, Glenn. He said, well, then it's my word against yours. And then swore.
Granted, I was
Yeah, I'm not going to put you guys together. All right.
Granted, I was frustrated that the time kept going.
Did you say you were going to send people to his house?
I swear on my kids that he said
Okay,
that.
no. Okay, yeah, not a good idea to put you guys together again. All right. I am so sorry that we are in this position because it was so unnecessary. You know, the impatience of a couple of weeks. So the very first question that happens is did he breach the contract or did you? I find that you breached the contract, that you did not have a right to pull out under the circumstances. So what I am going to do, because you have all those materials on your side and you're able to reuse them, is give them a credit for that. But be there no mistake, I do find that the breach occurred on that side and not on your side. I am, however, going to give them a credit for the materials that are there. I'm going to value it at $1,500, so I'm ruling in favor of the plaintiffs in the case in the amount of the $1,500, which represents just the credit for the lumber and stuff that's over there that they can't have. I'm sorry that it worked out that way. Good luck to everybody.
Well, the plaintiffs are going to prevail to the tune of $1,500 that you've got to give back to them. You got $7,500 of the deposit, right?
Correct.
So you okay with that?
I think it was very fair. I'm happy.
I gather building a tree house is not easy in a tree.
It's not easy.
But you don't want to go back and do it for them, right?
No, not for them. I'm sorry.
You glad this is over?
I am. I hope it's over.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you.
You must sign a few documents outside. The Martins are on their way out of the courtroom right now. I'm intrigued to know why you brought the kids to court. Did you want them to see this and hear all of this?
I did. I wanted them to see how the justice system works in the United States.
Did you threaten him? No. Who are Vinny and Rocco?
I don't know.
You don't have a clue?
No.
He swore you did.
Okay, that's his opinion.
You got pretty angry with him, though, right?
I got frustrated and upset, and I was a little firm with him at the end of those weeks.
Yeah.
But I wasn't threatening him in any which way.
That's very interesting. Anyway, you're going to have to live with what you're getting back, $1,500. What happens now?
Oh, it's unfortunate, but we'll have to see what the next step is in terms of getting a treehouse for the kids with a reliable
You
builder.
agree with the judge who thinks you were just a little too impatient?
I don't. She wasn't living the day-to-day, trying to get a word from him with all his excuses about every excuse under the sun, and I truly don't even believe those materials that he bought were for us.
All right. Thank you very much, okay?
Thank you.
All right, Harvey?
When you say you're going to send Vinny and Rocco to your house, no offense to those names, but you know what it means, and that's arguably assault, which is like a veiled threat. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.